Have you ever wondered why two people can experience the same trauma but respond in completely different ways? One person becomes angry, another runs from conflict, while someone else shuts down completely. These reactions aren't personality flaws, they're automatic survival responses created by the brain to keep you safe. Some are easy to recognize, while others can quietly shape your relationships, emotions, and everyday decisions for years. The most surprising part? Many people don't even realize they're living in one of these survival modes. So let's count down every major trauma response and discover the psychology behind each one. Number 10. Fight. When most people think about trauma responses, they imagine someone fighting back. But researchers explain that the fight response is much more than physical aggression. It is the brain's automatic survival system preparing the body to confront a perceived threat. When the brain detects danger, the amygdala signals the release of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart beats faster, muscles tense, breathing quickens, and attention narrows toward the source of danger. While this response can be life-saving during genuine emergencies, it may continue appearing long after the original trauma has ended. Someone might become unusually defensive, easily irritated, argumentative, or quick to anger even in relatively safe situations because their nervous system has learned to anticipate danger. Importantly, this reaction is not a conscious choice. It is the brain attempting to protect the person using strategies that once increased survival. Therapy, supportive relationships, stress management, and learning to regulate the nervous system can gradually reduce unnecessary fight responses while helping the brain recognize that the present is safer than the past. Number 9. Flight. Not every brain responds to danger by confronting it. For many people, survival means escaping as quickly as possible. Researchers describe the flight response as the nervous system's attempt to create safety through distance. During this response, stress hormones rapidly increase energy, heart rate, breathing, and alertness, preparing the body to run or avoid perceived threats. Long after trauma has ended, this pattern may continue psychologically rather than physically. Someone may constantly stay busy, overwork, avoid difficult conversations, frequently change jobs or relationships, or feel an overwhelming urge to leave stressful situations immediately. Their brain has learned that safety comes from movement and escape, rather than remaining still. Although this strategy may once have been protective, it can become exhausting when activated unnecessarily. Developing emotional regulation skills, practicing mindfulness, and slowly building tolerance for safe discomfort can help retrain the nervous system to distinguish genuine danger from ordinary everyday stress. Number 8. Freeze. Sometimes survival does not involve fighting or fleeing at all. Instead, the nervous system temporarily shuts down movement, creating what researchers call the freeze response. During overwhelming danger, the brain may determine that remaining completely still offers the greatest chance of survival. Heart rate may slow, muscles become rigid, speech becomes difficult, and thinking may temporarily feel clouded. This automatic response is seen throughout the animal kingdom and requires no conscious decision. After trauma, individuals may experience freezing during arguments, stressful meetings, medical appointments, or emotionally intense situations despite desperately wanting to respond. Many survivors later blame themselves for doing nothing, even though the freeze response is entirely involuntary. Understanding that freezing represents an automatic survival mechanism, not weakness, can reduce unnecessary guilt while supporting healthier recovery and greater self-compassion throughout the healing process. Number 7. Fawn. One of the least understood trauma responses is called fawning. Researchers describe it as surviving by keeping other people happy at almost any cost. Instead of fighting, fleeing, or freezing, the nervous system attempts to reduce danger by becoming agreeable, compliant, accommodating, or excessively helpful. Someone may struggle to say no, constantly seek approval, apologize excessively, ignore their own needs, or avoid conflict even when they are being treated unfairly. Their brain has learned that pleasing others increases safety and reduces the likelihood of harm. Although this strategy may have helped someone survive an unsafe environment, it often becomes emotionally draining in healthy relationships. Recovery involves gradually learning healthy boundaries, recognizing personal needs, and understanding that genuine safety does not require sacrificing one's identity to earn acceptance or avoid rejection. Number 6. Collapse. When stress becomes completely overwhelming and escape feels impossible, the nervous system may shift into what researchers describe as the collapse response. Unlike the energized fight-or-flight state, Collapse involves a dramatic reduction in energy, motivation, and emotional responsiveness. People may feel emotionally numb, disconnected, exhausted, hopeless, or unable to take action even when they want to. Scientists believe this response represents one of the brain's most ancient survival strategies, conserving energy during situations perceived as impossible to overcome. Although collapse can resemble depression, the two are not always identical, and proper evaluation is important. Understanding this response helps explain why trauma survivors sometimes struggle with motivation, despite deeply wanting to recover. Healing often focuses on gently restoring a sense of safety, connection, and nervous system regulation, rather than relying on willpower alone. Number 5. Appease. The appease response is closely related to fawning, but researchers describe it as an even deeper survival strategy focused on preventing conflict before it begins. Instead of waiting for danger to appear, the brain constantly scans for signs that someone might become upset and immediately tries to calm the situation. A person may instinctively agree with others, avoid expressing opinions, laugh off disrespect, or take responsibility for problems they did not cause. Their nervous system has learned that keeping everyone else emotionally comfortable is the safest way to survive. Over time, this pattern can make it difficult to recognize personal needs, express disagreement, or build healthy relationships based on honesty. Many people don't realize they are doing it because the behavior has become automatic over years of repeated experiences. Recovery involves learning that disagreement does not always lead to danger, and that healthy relationships can tolerate boundaries, honest conversations, and mutual respect without threatening personal safety or emotional security. Number 4. Hypervigilance. Imagine walking into every room, expecting something bad to happen, before you even know why. Researchers call this hypervigilance, a trauma response in which the brain remains in an almost constant state of alertness. The amygdala becomes highly sensitive, causing ordinary sounds, facial expressions, or unexpected movements to be interpreted as possible threats. Someone experiencing hypervigilance may constantly scan exits, notice tiny changes in other people's moods, startle easily, struggle to relax, or feel mentally exhausted after spending time in public. Although this awareness may once have helped detect genuine danger, it often continues long after the threat has disappeared. Living in this constant state of readiness places enormous strain on both the mind and body, contributing to anxiety, poor sleep, muscle tension, and difficulty concentrating. Therapy and nervous system regulation techniques aim to gradually teach the brain that constant surveillance is no longer necessary for survival. Number 3. Dissociation. One of the brain's most remarkable survival mechanisms is dissociation. Rather than escaping physically, the mind creates psychological distance from overwhelming experiences. Researchers explain that dissociation can involve feeling disconnected from your thoughts, emotions, surroundings, or even your own body. Some people describe feeling as though they are watching themselves from outside, while others report that the world suddenly seems dreamlike, unreal, or emotionally distant. During severe trauma, this temporary separation may reduce overwhelming emotional pain by limiting conscious awareness of frightening events. However, if dissociation continues long after the trauma has ended, it can interfere with memory, concentration, relationships, and everyday functioning. Importantly, dissociation is not a sign of weakness or imagination. It is an automatic protective response created by the brain under extreme stress. Healing often focuses on safely reconnecting with the present moment while helping the nervous system feel secure enough to remain fully engaged with daily life. Number 2. Emotional numbing. Not every trauma response feels dramatic. Sometimes the brain protects itself by reducing emotional intensity altogether. Researchers refer to this as emotional numbing, where feelings that were once vivid become muted or difficult to access. A person may struggle to experience happiness, sadness, excitement, love, or even grief with the same intensity they once did. Activities that were previously enjoyable may feel strangely empty, and relationships can become difficult because emotional connection feels distant. Scientists believe this response develops because the brain attempts to protect itself from overwhelming emotional pain by lowering emotional sensitivity overall. While this may reduce suffering in the short term, it can also limit positive emotions and meaningful social connection. Recovery often involves gradually rebuilding emotional awareness in a safe environment, allowing both difficult and positive emotions to return naturally without overwhelming the nervous system. Number 1. Post-traumatic growth. Not every long-term response to trauma is harmful. Researchers have identified a phenomenon called post-traumatic growth, where some people eventually develop greater resilience, deeper relationships, stronger personal values, or a renewed appreciation for life after working through traumatic experiences. This does not mean trauma is beneficial or that suffering is necessary for growth. Instead, it recognizes that with appropriate support, healing, and time, some individuals discover new strengths they never realized they possessed. Post-traumatic growth often develops gradually through therapy, supportive relationships, self-reflection, and rebuilding a sense of safety rather than through the traumatic event itself. Every person's healing journey is different, and many people experience both ongoing challenges and meaningful personal growth at the same time. Understanding post-traumatic growth offers hope that recovery is possible while respecting the profound difficulty that trauma can have on the human mind and nervous system. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to see more.